So Dudu is really enjoying looking at the flowers and dreaming about birds on his cat tower these days. He has these cherry blossoms right outside the window behind him. And here is Dudu looking at all the flowers out there and the hummingbird. So the view outside the window is often very entertaining for Dudu these days. Here's a hummingbird fluttering around.
Hi everyone, it's Becky here, and here's my kitty Dudu. Oh, looking into the camera there on the very top of his cat tower. And spring has arrived in Vancouver, and I got a fresh new haircut. So happy Easter long weekend, everyone. So I hope you're having a good time with your family, celebrating Easter together. And in today's video, in the first part, I'm going to show you how to draw and paint these two adorable bunnies in colored eggs. So I'm going to sketch the two bunnies over here on the right hand side of the page. As I promised my Sunday sketch class last week, I'm going to finish this half of the page with the one or two Easter bunnies. And I'm going to grab my Sailor's Fude fountain pen. So I'm gonna have fun sketching first with my Sailor's Fude fountain pens. So I'm gonna start drawing the contour outline of both of these two eggs of two ovals.
Yeah, so one egg is gonna be in the front, one is gonna be a little bit behind. So this one's the one in the front. I just drew the almost perfect oval and the crack contour outline on top. Yeah, it's pretty fun to draw. And then above the cracking outline, I see one arm of the bunny, the face and the ears bending down. The other arm holding onto the ear. And it's a really playful gesture. So, and then one eye, the other eye of the bunny. I just color in the eyeballs with solid brown ink, the little nose and the smile. And I'm using very gentle pressure on the back of the fountain pen nib to draw these super thin lines of the fur texture for both the arm, the face, and the chest area of this bunny. To create these super thin lines of the fur texture, I'm also holding the pen very much 90 degrees perpendicular to the paper, same as the cracks on the surface of the egg. Nice little cracks here and there. Very creative design of an Easter ornament. Now the first bunny's drawing is done. It's pretty easy, fun, and playful. Second one, just getting the incomplete oval done. The contour outline of the crack. And then holding the pen pretty much 90 degrees to this paper for the thin cracking marks on the surface and the polka dots. And keep enjoying the process. Now it's time to fit the body of the bunny in. Just focus on the contour outline of the exterior, the two super adorable ears, and then moving on to the inner details, the folds of the ears, one of the arms, the other arm playing peekaboo, the little notes. And this one is easier because the eyes are covered up. And then very gentle hand pressure, holding the pen perpendicular to the paper for the fur texture. And then adding a sense of thickness for the eggshell, final accentuations. And there's a little space left for one more bunny. So it's a set of 3, a lovely trail. So just getting the oval done first of the eggshell, the organic crack, contour outline, and then it's time to fit the torso of the bunny in. So first I'm going to get the curve of the left side of the body in and the right side, very much in symmetry. And then the face, the lovely ears, forming the head. One of the paws, the other paw covering the mouth. So it's kind of like giggling. And then getting the eyes and the nose in. And he or she is alive, looking at us. Yeah, I think the eyes of all animals and humans, any living creatures, is very important to give life to them. So I was a little careful drawing those eyes of these bunnies. And gentle line segments for the furry texture. Final polish here and there, and don't forget the cracks and the polka dots on here.
So for the watercolor part, as usual, I'm going to be using my Mungyo watercolor palette, containing about 12 colors in here. And I'll be using my two Holbein water brushes, the large brush tip and the medium brush tip to paint. Yeah, so basically when you're just putting the colors on these eggs, you can be very playful and open-ended. So for the yellow, I played with a diluted lemon yellow mixed with yellow ochre, a little bit of yellow orange, which is lemon yellow mixed with orange, containing a little less water. So just a little bit of value transition happening with the yellow egg. For the teal colored eggs, same idea. I started off with really light watery teal that I mixed with cerulean blue and lime green. Okay, it's a really soothing, cool color, side by side with the yellow.
And for the lavender colored egg, it's a tricky color. So I played with three colors. First color that I used is permanent red, diluted with quite a lot of water. Second color, I mixed in a bit of royal purple into permanent red. Third color is a little cobalt blue, mixed into the pink. So there are actually three colors dancing around here on this egg. And so basically I played with wet into wet for the first layer of several colors for each egg. For the first layer of the bunnies, I also put on a super diluted yellow ochre mixed with raw umber. Now I'm ready to paint the second layer of the bunnies' bodies and faces. So this is yellow ochre mixed with a bit of burnt sienna and some diluted reds. If you dilute red with a lot of water, you get pink for those ears. Alright, now I'm trying to mix burnt sienna with a little bit of cobalt blue to get a slightly darker brown to shade the bunnies' bodies and faces. The window is on the left, so the right side of the faces are shaded. Yeah, so same for these little arms. The right side of these arms are shaded. And making sure this darker tone of brown is a little bit heavier compared to the first layer of light wash. And my next move is to further shade or add shadows for these body areas. So this is burnt sienna mixed with even more cobalt blue, diluted with a little less water. There are shadows under the chins, under the arms of each bunny. Yeah, in between the arms as well, and on the very right edge of the faces and arms. So basically, the more cobalt blue you mix into burnt sienna, the darker the brown you get, the more muted the brown looks like for shade and shadow colors. And now it's time to move on to shading these eggs. Yellow is a really tricky color to shade, but I like to use a purplish blue kind of shade, super diluted. For the right edge of the yellow egg. Again, this is like a dance of blue and pink purple. Again, the window is on the left, so the right side of these eggs are shaded. For the teal color one is a darker blue, cobalt blue with a little bit of royal purple. And for the lavender colored one is a darker purple, cobalt blue mixed with royal purple, focus on the right side of the egg. And a little bit more purple blue on the bottom of that lavender colored egg. So these ornaments may look childish, but when you're painting them, when you're drawing and painting them, you can use a pretty mature way to draw and paint. Now it's time to paint the shadows, just getting the reflective colors on the shadows done, super diluted yellow and teal and pink, and then wet onto wet, some leftover purplish gray that I mix with cobalt blue, royal purple, and a tiny bit of green, and a much more intense bluish gray on the very bottom edges of these eggs. And now it's time to buffer a little bit by having fun painting in these letters with all the fancy colors that on my mind. As I often mention in my YouTube videos and classes, watercolor values tend to fade away after the paint dries up after like 5 to 10 minutes. So now I'm adding some retouches of heavier shaded colors for these eggs. Yeah, just another layer of darker turquoise blue on the right edge, and then intensify the shadows a little bit more. And that's it. Here's a look of my finished sketches of the super charming Easter bunnies in eggs. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the sky to open up so I can sketch the cherry blossoms under a nice blue sky. And yes, it did happen after a few hours after my afternoon nap.
Okay, so it's 5:30 in the evening now, and I'm really grateful for longer days in the spring and summer because I get more time to sketch in the daylight. The weather is very unstable, so I just want to quickly capture the cherry blossoms under a bit of blue sky and clouds. So I'm going to start drawing a tall rectangular frame first. And the sun is shining now. Wow, I'm very, very lucky. I've been waiting all day long for the blue sky and sunshine to come back. In the weather forecast, it says it's going to be rain all day. So I'm just super grateful for the blue sky and a bit of sunshine coming back here in the evening. Perfect lighting condition for me.
So my main subject matter is actually this blooming cherry tree. I just want to start drawing it first, starting with the trunk, and then emerging from the trunk are 2 or 3 major branches and smaller branches, forming the prototype of the canopy. The canopy apparently is an invisible sphere, and all of these branches are like the skeletons of that invisible sphere. Now it's time to move on to the middle ground area. The tree needs a lot of urban elements to support it. Yeah, so that's very much it for the drawing part of the cherry tree. Now I'm moving on to the middle ground element, a pretty important supporting element behind the tree. Working on this abstract rooftop of this neighbor's house on the other side of the street, and the tip of another neighbor's rooftop, and the lamppost overlapping on the edge here, starting to stack the 2 levels of this house. And on the bottom there's a cute row of shrubs like lollipops inside a flower bed, and then installing these windows for the second level, 2 garage doors, and had to tilt my head a little bit to see better of this house here on the left side. Some rooftop details, the shingles using loose and gentle parallel lines. Yeah, so most rooftops in the world are in triangle or multiple triangles and or trapezoids joining together. Yeah, so just having fun seeing those shapes and then adding the textures of the shingles, and then installing the second floor of this main house. Windows are so much fun to draw because they are like eyes of the houses, and this middle roof in between the first and second floor, a little fence there dividing the 2 neighbors' houses, some little shrubs on the bottom. I just want to draw very loosely, not to interrupt the canopy of the cherry tree too much. Starting to draw these organic cone shapes of the evergreen trees in the background. And then the large branches of the maple tree a little bit far away in front of the cherry tree. And the side of the sidewalk. Oh, it's a little wonky, but I don't mind. Just keep drawing. The thickness of the sidewalk, the width of the sidewalk, and the pieces of concrete. Yeah, so the sidewalk is another pretty important element supporting the cherry tree. Now, the world is very clear for the cherry tree to land on. Yeah, it's not so isolated anymore. And then keep expanding the branches of this maple tree longer here, splitting into thinner twigs. When we see branches and twigs of trees, they're very rarely super straight lines. They're always bending a little bit, once or twice or more, in one long line. That's always curving a little bit. Yeah, keep drawing more. Yeah, I always find drawing trees super satisfying. Just summarize those branches and twigs without, trying to stare at the tree. If you missed some numbers of twigs, that's okay. You try to capture the spirit of the tree. And then some other details, defining the driveways, and that's it for the drawing part.
Okay, now ready to paint with watercolors again. So nice that it turns out to be a beautiful day after all. The rain was tapping on the windows all day long and just feels so refreshing to see the sunshine and the fresh blue sky coming back.
So to suggest the lighting condition of a bright sunny day, it's very important to start the first layer of your watercolors with the gentle tint of yellow. So this is a diluted yellow ochre mixed with lemon yellow for everything under the sun. Yep, everything is glowing with bright energy. And now I'm just punching on this diluted cerulean blue for the sky area. As I'm painting the sky, I'm also outlining the cloud under it. And I want the outline of the cloud to fade off a little bit by doing wet into wet. Now blending on a bit of blue purplish gray using the leftover ones in my palette to shade the bottom half of the cloud, which is very important to give three-dimensionality for clouds. And just keep the upper half pretty bright and almost untouched. And the sky is done. I just want to keep it really simple yet effective. Now it's time to paint the first layer of the cherry blossoms. So this is a mix of permanent red from Mungyo and simply red from Etchr. So two different red magentas mixing together, diluted with a lot of water, using these quick and loose brush marks. And then quick second layer, the same color combinations but containing less water, as you can see. A little bit more concentrated red-pink color. Put some sunshine yellow on the street.
So the sun is illuminating everything, even the shaded areas of the street over here. I can see a small percentage of sunshine.
So even these shaded areas of the street, I can feel the sun is shining through the shadows. Same for these branches. The sun is actually shining directly onto those branches. So it's a little bit more concentrated yellow ochre on those branches. Burnt sienna mixed with a little bit of cobalt blue to get a mid to a dark brown with a little bit value transition as I'm spreading that brown on those rooftops. And now it's time to paint the greens of the lawns. Again, playing with a variety of greens, playing with lime green, yellow ochre, lemon yellow, and viridian green, playing with the color gradient that's happening with the help of sunshine. Same for the forest behind the houses. Green color gradient. Yeah, using yellow green, mid green, and a darker green. Yeah, darker green coming on right now. So there's higher contrast on these lawn areas, and same for the trees. So, in a nutshell, to make any piece of artwork, whatever medium it is, looking very compelling, you need to play with light, medium, and dark tones. Okay, so now I'm just adding shadows on the left side of these houses because the sun is on the right. The left side, which is actually pretty small, is shaded with a blue purplish gray. And I just painted the little balloon-like shrubs. Okay, and just putting on some brown, mostly burnt sienna for the maple tree trunk. And the lower part of the branches. The higher part is exposed to the evening sunshine, so making sure not overpaint it. The very lower part of the maple tree has the darker brown tone. A little bit value transition for the branches, shadows in between some areas of those higher branches. And then moving on to add another layer of darker sepia for the roofs. And light bluish gray for the street and the sidewalk, shadows from the houses. And a little bit more intense here closer to the foreground to add more weight for the foreground area using that patch of shadow. And now it's time to add a more intense green for the forest behind, just to push the warmer browns of the house rooftops, even better. So playing with balance of warm and cold colors as usual. Now it's time to sharpen the details of my main subject matter, the cherry blossoms. So yeah, the canopy area is all dried for sharper brush marks and higher contrast. So this is permanent red with a little bit of royal purple mixed in for the lower 2/3 of the canopy. Switching to my medium tip water brush, so I have medium to small, little bit choppy brush marks to show the clusters of flowers even better. Yeah, so more definitions for this cherry tree's canopy is very important because it's the main character in this sketch. Okay, so final polish here and there. I'm pretty happy with the result of the sketch. It took me about like 35 minutes to draw and paint to just capture the moment simply and effectively.
Alright, so here are my finished sketches for this video. The Easter bunny ornaments that I got from Winners, our department store here in Canada. And the cherry tree outside the little window of my kitchen. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. If you enjoyed it, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. So I update my channel with 2 fresh new videos every week. They're always my most recent urban sketches done around the city of Vancouver or my travels elsewhere. Later in the spring and summer, I'm probably going to be traveling to other places other than Vancouver. So stay tuned for those upcoming sketch trips. I will also keep filming my sketching processes of everyday ordinary items at home here in my kitchen. And yeah, so again, happy Easter. Enjoy the lovely weekend with your family and have fun handing out candies, chocolates, and doing Easter egg hunt with your little loved ones. All right, so I will see you again very soon next time. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy your Easter. Bye.